Sherrone, Donovan McCauley performance today unbelievable. I know in the last couple of weeks you've emphasized the fundamentals of receiving, keeping the ball away from your body. Can you talk about these last 2 weeks, what it's been like in that room?
Yeah, I think there's been a big challenge in that room, right, to catch the ball. You know, the first thing I said when I came back from torture, I felt like, but it wasn't torture. Learning experience, we really talked about catching the ball away from your body. That's the first thing we talked about. And I thought he does that naturally, and we continue to emphasize that all throughout the week. And I thought him, obviously having the breakout game he did, 6 catches, 112 yards, a lot of great yak, along a 33 and a touchdown. I mean, just it was an unbelievable job by him and signs of that we've seen all along. So we'll continue to emphasize that and put him in positions to do that, along with Andrew Marsh and those guys. You know, both those guys had their best game. You know, they had their best games with Wolverines, and really proud of their performance.
Over in the back right, Zach. Who has the mic? Oh, Sam has it?
Yep. Bress had 270 yards today. Really
Yeah.
took off in that second half. Can you talk about his performance and how you've seen him grow from week 1?
Yeah, could just continue to get better and better and better and better, and put more on his plate and give him more to do, and he just continues to learn, never satisfied with himself and his progression. So did a really nice job and still have things to work on. You know, it's not perfect, and he knows that, and we all know that, but he's peaking at the right time for us. And what I'm really proud of is how he's taking care of the football overall. You know, we had the loose ball there, but you know, he's not throwing it into traffic a lot. He's putting it on the money where he needs to in those contested catches situations. So he continues to play at a really good level, and we'll continue to help him and do that.
Back right, Zach.
First game back for Rod Moore in the big house. Can you just talk about his impact with the interception and also a couple other great plays today?
His impact is something you can't really describe. You know, he's a coach on the field. He's a coach in the meeting room, and then you just feel his energy when he's on the field. It's different. It's special. You know, you feel guys like him they don't come along very much. He's a guy that's made plays here for a long time. You know, the last time he had a pick in the big house was against Ohio State in 23, and then he comes across the field like a laser beam and picks it off today and stops the reverse. So proud of him and what he's done and how he continues to fight and what he's done with his body and how he's gotten better, and it feels like he's faster now than he was before. So great to have him back.
Front left here, Steve.
Sherrone, you mentioned how much you liked Donovan McCauley's smile. Talk about about who he is in your locker room and what he brings to the team, aside from just his abilities.
Yeah, I mean, he's a competitor. He's a competitor off the field. He's a competitor. You know, when we got in the spring, you know, he would just compete. He pushed the receiver. He pushed the receivers in the room. He pushed the DBs because he'd make plays, and guys would get mad, and everybody would be talking and chirping. And when you're getting spring ball and fall camp, it gets hot. It gets, you know, it gets competitive, not combative though, and that's great to see. But he's a outstanding human being, an outstanding kid that just cares about his teammates and cares about, you know, helping the team win in any way possible.
Front right here, Chris.
How close to 100% do you think Rod is out there right now?
Yeah, it feels like he's at 100%. I remember talking to him right before the game. He's like, I feel outstanding. I feel so good. Like, I feel better than I have felt in a long time. And so I think he's there. And I think there's always going to be a little soreness, right, because you haven't played football in a year and a half or whatever it is. But he just, to me, that looks pretty good. So he's playing at a high level.
And then what did Andrew Marsh do to earn extra time here, and what did the that you really like?
I mean, I think just as a freshman, he's continued to learn the playbook, learn what he's supposed to do, but he's just continued to make plays. You know, we had that opportunity week, and he was a guy that just kept standing out. He kept making plays. And when a guy keeps making plays, it's only fair to give him the opportunity. And he did that. So he earned it, and he's going to continue to earn it.
Over on the left in the back there, Aaron.
Another one on Donovan. Could you just speak to the big plays he made there in the second half? It seemed like he came up and he had made big plays and you guys needed him.
Yeah, a lot of big plays. You know, we'll keep featuring him, keep doing different things to put him in position to be successful and make those big plays. But that goes to his hard work. He practiced his tail off this week, and he does every week. But there was like, you can see the spark in his eye, and he's like, Coach, I'm getting in the end zone, because that was his first touchdown. You know, and he needs more of that. He's going to have more of that. And I told him when he scored his first one, I'm like, that's not going to be your last, bro. So I love your smile. I love how happy you are and how much energy you got. But let's save it, because we're going to continue to do it more and more. So he's peaking right now where we need to be.
The defense, they really buckled down after that first drive.
Yeah, it was all about tackling. Wink did, first of all, shout out to Wink Martindale, the defensive staff, the players. After that first drive, we looked at it. It was tackling. It wasn't the calls. It wasn't, it was tackling. It was missing tackles. And after that, I think it was 8 punts and an interception, and then a field goal at the end of the game. So pretty good. That's what it came down to. And something we worked on we worked on opportunity week. We worked on this past week, and you can see the emphasis of that, with tackling, and that helped us be successful on defense.
I think you said last week, like, the worst thing you can tell a guy about dropping a pass is just to catch the ball.
Yeah.
What are some things you can tell him or try to build confidence back up when it happens in a game like today?
I think seeing the ball caught is the biggest thing. Seeing it all the way into the tuck, and I think the ones that happened today were your eyes were ahead of your hands. Your eyes were down the field. Your eyes weren't looking the ball into your hand. Then it's seeing that all the way in. So those are the things that you continue to emphasize. And you want to build confidence, and part of that confidence is giving them chances to go do it again. And they made plays after that happened, so that was good to see.
On the right, Larry.
Bryce's talent is obvious for anyone who sees him. What do you see in subtle ways where he's getting better week after week and maybe doing things now that he wasn't doing 2 weeks ago or a month ago?
Yeah, first starts with all the stuff off the field, not just the studying, but the leadership qualities and being able to, tell guys, hey, this route needs to be here, or, make sure we have this split here, or whatever it is to the offensive line, and not a demeaning way, but in a positive attitude way that, because he's going to be effective as a leader. And he has that power because he is the quarterback. So he continues to do that. And then just the little things that different plays and, being able to execute things that he maybe was able to do week one, right, and put him in those positions to do that. So he continues to have a lot of growth through for, 270 this game. And there's probably 30, 40 more yards, and it's 300 yards easy. And so he's playing really well for us. Just keep taking the football and doing the things to be successful.
In the middle, Tony.
Yeah, Sherrone, you guys have been looking for someone to step up at receiver these past couple of weeks. Marsh's talent looks very apparent. I guess what was it that you needed to see from him in order to break on into this playing group? And then how much do you think that also opened it for Donovan and vice versa?
Yeah, I think when you are a freshman at any position, especially receiver or tight end, you got to know where to line up, you got to know where to go, you got to know exactly what to do. And those things were, those were coming along, right? And those were being more consistent. And you saw that this past week, and he just continued to make plays. He made plays in the spring, but was still trying to figure it out, right? And made plays in fall camp, and but it started to click. And when it starts to click with talent, then you start to play fast and you stop thinking. And he got to that point really more last week, but really this week for sure you could see it. So the opportunities are there, and we always say it's an open competition. So everybody's got an opportunity. The depth chart is a living, flowing organism. It never just stays the same. So guys are always challenged, and that helps competition. And we just want the best players to play.
And then if you could, what were you thinking late in the game? It felt like you guys were trying to score late. I guess what was your thought process there?
Yeah, we could have scored, but I took the high road. So.
We got time for a couple more. We'll start with Clayton up front here.
A couple times in short yardage, you guys didn't pick it up, and maybe that was one of the reasons for the first half not going the way you wanted it to offensively. What kind of went wrong in those situations? How can it get fixed?
You go back and watch them. They're, footwork. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate the halls. Footwork, hat placement, the things that you harp on, the little pieces that could, make a play successful or unsuccessful. Those are really the things. It's not the calls. It's those pieces, and we'll get those cleaned up and fixed because you look at the week before, we got those things done. We got those first downs, and maybe we weren't as many of those situations, but those are things you got to do to get where you want to be. So we got to continue to harp on the little things. We've always, this has been about the how. It hasn't been about the what. It's been about the how we do it, how we execute plays. So we'll continue to harp on that as a unit and a team.
Alejandro.
Sherrone, just your assessment on the offensive line. I know you had a couple backups in there, or maybe on the job. What's your assessment?
Yeah, I think same thing. Just there's got to be things you got to clean up. But you look at our total offense. We had 445 yards of total offense, and like when you have those days, you're usually pretty good. If we score in the red zone twice, it's a completely different look of the win, right? And you won the game, so you're extremely happy about that. You rushed for 175 yards, which is pretty good in the Big Ten. But our standard is a certain way, so we're going to attack what we need to attack to clean everything up and challenge guys that need to be challenged and go from there.
Sherrone, you guys tried a few trick plays, so to speak, double passes or whatever. Was that because of the way Wisconsin plays defense, or did you feel like you needed to jumpstart the offense a little bit, or what?
No, I mean, I just think, one, it's part of, football. On offense, you like to have fun. You guys have seen me call plays. It's got them all over the place. There's a whole bunch of them, and Chip's the same way. And just wants to keep the juices flowing and keep guys going in the offense and just let them know, hey, we're not – there's certain plays that we're always running. We have different ways to do it, and it keeps people off balance. So you got to be able to have that in your offense.
Sherrone, with Rod, it's obviously such a long journey, and there's so much that we don't see with these guys
Mm-hmm.
making their way back emotionally, physically. What is it that you see from him in months, 7, 8, and 9 that makes a day like this so special? What do you learn about him on this journey?
I learned a lot, man. I hope a lot of young kids, they go through a lot of things and people just want to quit. People just want to stop. And he could have easily did it after the first setback. He had a setback initially that held him back. What's up, fellas? Look at him. There he is. What up, baby? He could have easily, in that first setback, said, I'm done and I don't want to deal with it. But to watch a guy, I'm talking about you. To watch a guy like this, and with the same last name, which is pretty cool, to do what he's done, just continue to never give up, never quit, push, support his teammates at a high level. He's the first guy. Last year I remember having him on the sideline, and I heard somebody yelling at the defense, just going off. And maybe it was the Ohio State game. I don't know when it was. It was all of them, but and he was losing his mind. I was like, damn, what coach is that? And it was Rod. Just ripping the whole defense, and everybody's laser focused on exactly what he's saying. So to watch him and his journey and what he's done, and his family's here. I couldn't be more proud of this young man and have him a part of our football team. And for me as a person, to learn from him as a leader and what he's done and how he leads, because he not only leads on the field, he leads off the field, he leads in the class. He just everything you want, he does it the right way, and he's special. He's really special, and he's gonna help us win a lot of games. And then whatever team in the NFL that gets to draft him, they're gonna be very lucky to have this man on his roster.
Appreciate it.